And the thing about, the general personal development world, because I've done all the big names, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Mel Robbins, Grant Cardone, Don DeMartini. There's so many of them out there, right? Like, name them, I've probably done something with them, gone to a webinar, a course, a program, done something, yeah? And I love these guys, guys and girls, I should say. I love them because I've gotten a lot from them. But for me, I had to take so many different programs and courses to get everything that I needed. And I still didn't necessarily get everything in a way that was really suitable to me. It was a very generic kind of one size fits all for everyone who attended. And yes, there was growth. I'm not going to deny that. It's just that when it came down to what worked for me personally as a queer person and how I've also coached many people, there was a lot of downsides as well. And again, going into spaces like that, I've predominantly felt like I was the only queer person in the room. Welcome to the Queer Quest podcast, your beacon of light and sprinkle of glitter in the queer community. I'm your host, Cristiano Green, CEO and founder of Queer Quest and a transformation coach for queer individuals. And together, we're embarking on a journey of transformation. Each week, we bring you a new training topic or connecting with visionary queer leaders in healing and coaching, diving deep into conversations that inspire growth, celebrate diversity, and empower you to live authentically. So wherever you are, settle in and let's get ready to unlock the vibrant potential within. This is where your quest begins. Are you ready to embark on a journey of transformation that's uniquely yours? Welcome to Queer Quest, the world's first and best personal development platform created by and for the queer community. Imagine a space where your authenticity isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. A place where you can grow, learn, and thrive alongside a vibrant community that understands you. At Queer Quest, we're more than just a platform. We're a family. Connect with like-minded individuals, share your stories, and empower each other to reach new heights. Our tailored courses are designed to address the unique experiences of the queer community, from self-love and confidence building to career advancement and beyond. We've got you covered. It's time to step into your power and transform your journey. Join us today at courses.queerquest.vip, see what we're all about, and sign up to begin your quest. Hello, all you fabulous souls, and welcome to another episode of the Queer Quest podcast. I'm your host, Cristiano Green, the CEO and founder of Queer Quest, and a transformation coach for people in the queer community. Welcome back to those of you listeners who listen to us on a regular basis. And hello to all you fabulous souls who are listening to me for the very first time. Today, what I really want to talk about is how generic personal development is failing us in the queer community and why a queer-centric approach to personal development is key in your journey to queer excellence. So before we get into it, if you enjoy the episode, if you learn something new today, please consider following the show, subscribing to this on your favorite podcast platform, or better yet, leaving us a 5-star review. This really helps the podcast more than I could say, and this allows us to reach more and more people. And that would just mean the world to me. So we're jumping into the topic of why generalized personal development is not really doing you any favors as a queer person. Now, we are holistic beings, right? We're multifaceted human beings, and we have a lot of different sides of ourselves. Some are more complex than others. We've got our physical body and our fitness and our health and our wellness all around, the physical side of who we are as well. We've got the mental side, our mindset, what we think about, what comes into our brain on a consistent basis. What are we feeding our thoughts with? We have our emotional side. That's the feelings that we go through. Some of them we process well. Some of them we avoid like the plague, We've got our spiritual side. And as queer people, spirituality is a deeply important part of life. And I'm going to be talking a lot about that today as well. We've got, our careers or our entrepreneurial side. We have our financial side. How we feel about money says a lot about our life. It'll probably express a lot of other areas as well. So how wealthy do you feel financially and abundantly across, the other areas of your life as well? We've got our social relationships. We've got our intimate relationships. We've got our environments that we live in. We have got our culture. We've got our queer identity. And we also have the things that we like to do for fun, our hobbies, recreations, travel, things like that as well, our interests as well. So we're quite multifaceted, we're quite complex human beings. And really, when it comes down to it, as queer people, we have a different aspect. We have had different struggles. Now, for me, I've shared already that, going through personal development, when I was younger, I yo-yo back and forth. I applied something, I didn't apply something because I couldn't relate to people who were sharing the stuff with me. I would say a lot, in the back of my head, the story was, you don't understand me. You don't understand what I'm going through. So how do you know that that's going to work for me? And the thing about, the general personal development world, because I've done all the big names, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Mel Robbins, Grant Cardone, Don DeMartini. There's so many of them out there, right? Like name them, I've probably done something with them, gone to a webinar, a course, a program, done something, yeah? And I love these guys, guys and girls, I should say. I love them because I've gotten a lot from them. But for me, I had to take so many different programs and courses to get everything that I needed. And I still didn't necessarily get everything in a way that was really suitable to me. It was a very generic kind of one size fits all for everyone who attended. And yes, there was growth. I'm not going to deny that. It's just that when it came down to what worked for me personally as a queer person and how I've also coached many people, there was a lot of downsides as well. And again, going into spaces like that, I predominantly felt like I was the only queer person in the room, predominantly felt left out like an outsider. And it took a lot longer for me to probably reach where I needed to be because there was that resistance. There was that fear. There was that, what are these people going to think of me? Because I've been in certain situations that are supposed to be like safe spaces. I'm probably Tony Robbins' world where I have had the religious people come out of the wild zoo and literally attack me. Like literally hundreds of them in a private Facebook community been attacked for being LGBT. And that post had to be shut down because of how much vitriol it caused. There was a lot of people who were standing up for me as well. But again, there was a lot of hatred coming because of that. And that was in a safe space. And so really what I'm trying to get at is that sometimes it isn't a safe space for us. Sometimes finding, spaces that are queer-centric, that are for the people, by the people, with the people, is a place for you to be able to open up, for you to be able to connect, for you to look around the room and go, wow, I see myself represented here. And I see myself represented in such a way that it makes me feel like I can actually do something and maybe make a change in my life. And so for that, going versus the generic route versus a place that's very queer-centric, it's kind of an interesting thing, which is, again, why we look at the queer wellness wheel of life with each of those 12 categories that I just talked about and say, we've got all these different sides of ourselves. And being a queer person, you can relate to the different parts of those things and your queer experience affecting every single one of those 12 things, right? You look at your environment, which is a big part of it. If you've grown up in a place that is very much affirming of who you are, accepting of who you are as a queer person, look at the leaps and bounds you're going to make as an individual, as a person. But if you've gone to a place where you have been victimized, you've been pushed down, you've been bullied, you've been treated poorly, it's going to cause a lot of scars that are emotional. And sometimes those things become really difficult to overcome. You lack trust in people, and finding a place where you can go to actually get some healing, some growth, some transformation, it needs to be a sacred space, which is, again, why sometimes the generic personal development side is actually letting us down. And for me, I had to go through my absolute rock bottom moment to change, because it was too scary to go and do something that I felt unsafe in before that. I had to get to a point where there was no other option. I had to go do those things, right? I had to go learn that stuff. And for me, it spurred a huge amount of changes and growth, because I needed to change. I was ready to change. I was ready just to do anything. If anyone told me something that was going to make me feel good, I was like, I'm going to try, because I was at my lowest of lows in my life at that point there. Like I said, drinking to the wazoo, taking drugs, pulling drug benders, like just falling apart internally, but trying to put on a smile and a strong face externally, because I had so many people, looking up to me as well. But again, the cards came tumbling down. I tried to do everything all at once. I listened to everything they said, and they said, do it all at once. And I did. And that lasted for me to get out of my situation. But when I came to Bali and was in that realm, and I was actually able to have some space to breathe, because before that I was just so busy. I realized, wow, like, this is so much. Like, there's so much going on here. I haven't even given I'm doing all the things they tell me to do, but I haven't actually allowed myself to process any of the emotions or the feelings, because I've jumped from one thing to the next. They said, do this, do that, do that, do this, do that. I did it. I did it well, but I fell apart, and I needed to step back, and I needed to unlearn a lot of the things that I was being taught by all these gurus who said, do everything all at once. And I had to uncover a new and a better way as a queer person, where I could actually see progress and not feel bad for not doing 20 things at once and not being a perfectionist. Because again, as a queer person, we struggle with perfection. I've struggled with perfectionism. I have to push myself consistently to stop trying to be perfect and just try to focus on the progress instead. And so for me, I was able to take a step back and realize, where do I need to focus first? And at that point, I'd come and I just started a new relationship. I just moved to a new place. I was just left my, long corporate career. I was focusing solely on my, my coaching business. I didn't have people to answer to. I was completely the boss. I was focusing on my health and my fitness and all that stuff, and going through a lot of different emotional challenges, moved to a new environment, as I said, as well. So everything was happening all at once. I had to step back and go, okay, if I was to do one thing at a time here and focus on that, what's going to make the biggest difference? I started focusing on my relationship. It was new, and I spent some time there. And when I got that in order, I was spending, a month or two on that. I went back and said, okay, next is the business. Let's get that covered, because I don't want to be stressing out about money. And I've got clients who are relying on me. So let's really jump in and focus on that. So I did that. I got that in order. And then it was, okay, now here, I've got to find some balance, because, I've got to make some new friendships. And so I focused on that. And then it was, okay, look, where are we living? Let's focus on that. And so it was one thing at a time, to the point where every time I got one thing in a track, it was good. I was able to move to the next thing and then continue to work on those other things, because I'd already had a good routine or something in place. And then eventually, now it's a point where I'm focusing on one thing at a time, but I'm seeing progress, because each month of the year, I go, okay, this is the month for my physical health, where I really set a new routine and get something in order and see how we're tracking. And then I can look back on it and say, in 90 days, and go, where am I at with that? Great, cool. And go from that place as well. Next thing would be like, oh, where's my mental and my emotional state at, right? Is there anything that I've been pushing to the side and avoiding? Again, if I don't focus on it, I can easily go back to old patterns, which is why I do that as well. And so for me, I found that in able to do that, I was able to see progress. I was able to see strength in all areas. I was feeling strong in how I was showing up. I was feeling strong in my relationship. I was feeling strong in my friendships. I was feeling strong in my business and my purpose and my passion, right? Because I was able to strip away everything else, everyone else's expectations, everyone else's desires and needs and what they wanted for me. Just focus on me. When I was able to do that, I look around and I still see that people support me. I still see that people have an issue with me being queer. I don't worry about those things. I don't see those things much anymore. I just let them do them, right? It's called the let them theory. You do you, boo boo. I'll let you do you, and I'm gonna go over here. I don't want you in my lane. If you're gonna be that way, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna go over this one. I'm gonna be happier over here because I no longer need to deal with any of that stuff. And that's people, that's places, that's things, that's feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's about understanding what is good for you, what is good for your life, because you're doing a constant check. You're constantly looking at all these areas. What is working? What is not working? What do I want to do better? And what am I really enjoying with as well? Again, this is another reason why we worked on having a program such as QueerQuest, a platform for queer experts and coaches and healers and trainers to come on board, to be the teachers, to be the leaders, so that people in the queer community can come to one place and get personal development and hear and learn from queer experts all around the world. And again, with the way that we work with QueerQuest Pro, it's a monthly program where we do a monthly workshop and we focus on, that's right, one of the 12 areas of the queer wellness wheel of life every single month. And the coaches, along with the students and the people that are in the community, will focus all together and support each other throughout that month so that we all can get the kinds of results that we need to have in our own life. And so for me and for you and for everyone here, this is why the QueerQuest Pro program is something that is supportive and positive for the queer community and is a more queer-centric focus, because again, everything is understanding of us in the queer community. We get to talk about the things that, again, as queer people, we struggle with, the things that we actually do so well with and we really, are shining at. But also then, how can we improve? What are some of the tactics that we can put in place and some of the goals that we can have and support systems around us so that we can actually see the progress? And then imagine if you work on every single one of those areas compoundingly over a 12-month period, you're going to look back at on the 7, 12 months thinking, wow, I'm a whole different person in the best way possible. And then you got to go back again and continue to learn and grow from that place. Because again, the learning never stops. The journey never stops unless you decide for it to stop. And that's where we all kind of stuff ourselves up, because we take ourselves off a path. So again, when I realized that one area impacts another area, I focus and go, wow, I can get the best results by doing these things. And again, that's why we've been able to create this kind of program and why it works so well and why we keep doing it. And if you're someone who thinks, well, that's an interesting thing to listen to or talk to, you can do one or two things. You can go to courses.queerquest.vip and look at exactly what we have to offer. We have QueerQuest Pro available for you. We have a lower program as well. If you wanted to take it a little slow, it's called QueerQuest VIP. So you get to kind of choose kind of journey that you want to go on. The Pro is where you get to be part of the monthly workshops as well, and it's something that we find is a pivotal part to getting the success, because again, you're not building alone, you're building community around you at the same time. And that's why it's an important thing for people in the queer community to understand that there is we got to get out of the one size fits all generic personal development world and realize that there's a more tailored, a more custom approach for people in the queer community. So again, if you want to look at that, that's courses.queerquest.vip, or feel free to reach out to me and ask me any questions you have as well. We do also run a webinar on a weekly basis now. So if there's something that you'd like to come and check that out as well, you can also go to queerquestwebinars.com/webinar, and you can look up the current webinar that'll be on. No matter when this is on, that will be updated with the brand new webinar that I do, because it evolves and changes every couple of months. So check that out as well. Again, queerquestwebinars.com/webinar, and you'll be able to see what is the current webinar as well. Anyway, I trust that this has been a valuable lesson and podcast episode today. So please feel free to share, comment, like, subscribe to us. Again, if you found this valuable, please comment, please, follow us, please, leave us a 5-star review, because it really, really gets this podcast out there. And I would appreciate it more than I could even say as well, because you never know, there are one person out there who really needs to hear this. It's the person that it may not get to. So you doing that can support us in ways that are absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, always remember that you've got this and I've got you. Bye for now.